Okay. So if you just tuned in, it's episode 28 with the Knicks update. You'll have episode 29 with the Nets All-Star Outlook. It's the DROD and Shaniac Sports Podcast. Shane, I've talked for years about the Knicks now. It's time to give your 2 cents. A lot of stuff has happened with the Nets. They currently sit 31-27, 8th in the East, currently in the play-in. 2 back from Boston if they want to get out of play-in. 6.5 back from Chicago from first place. They're 11th in points per game, offensively, 18th in points against defensively. It's been pretty 50-50 all season, especially the latter half of the 50 coming more recently with the loss of KD, Kyrie's 50-50 himself. And of course, you made a move at the deadline. I think you should start off there. That breaking news.
All right. So pre-deadline, nothing really changes pre and post deadline in my outlook on the Nets. What I will say is pre-deadline, we had the most stars. And like I said in the last episode, the postseason is stars driven. There's a reason why LeBron single-handedly beat teams back in his prime.
Yeah, late 2000s.
Single-handedly. You know why? Because it's LeBron and it's driven by stars. And either LeBron always had the most stars on his team, or he was more of a star than the 2 or 3 that were on the other team. Like the Raptors, I saw a graphic like today that Bron against the Raptors in Eastern Conference semis or something like that had the same amount of points. He had the same amount of points, more rebounds, and more assists than Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan combined. So it's like, what? So it's a stars-driven league. So I always knew KD, Kyrie, and James Harden would, as long as they stay healthy, even with a 50% Kyrie, would win the chip. I always had that thought. Of course, I'm a scarred Nets fan, and everything goes wrong every year. So I knew something bad would happen, but I always thought if they could all stay healthy, it's almost guaranteed that we would win the chip. Last year, when all 3 were on the floor, we completely blitzed the Celtics. I mean, it was a gentleman's sweep. We let them get one. Yeah. And Tatum had to score like 52 for him to get that one. Like, we went to the Bucks and beat them by 40 the first 2 games. It took Giannis nearly breaking Kyrie's leg to get them to come back in the series.
Breaking his leg, my God. Like an ankle. I know.
It was so bad. Kyrie Kyrie is one of those guys. He broke his kneecap in the finals and just held his knee. He was like, yo, something's wrong.
Yeah. No.
The boy was rolling around on the floor after Giannis took him out. So it's like,
that's a size like 20 shoe. Yeah, anybody would be. I got you.
And then we're this close away from still sending them home. And if we sent them home, Kyrie would have came back the next round, and we would have washed the Hawks. Yeah. We would have cleaned them out.
Yo, I was on a plane watching that Game 7. Oof.
I was in an amazing escape room in Greenbrook with my phone like this, solving the puzzles, watching the game. We still would have won the chip with a half-hurt Hardin and with Kyrie coming back from a sprained ankle, because KD is the best player in the NBA. So I always had that idea of, as long as we can stay relatively healthy, we don't have to be 100%. It's impossible to be 100% in the playoffs because everyone played the entire year. But just get as close to 100% as possible, and it's almost guaranteed that we're going to at least make it to the finals. So when KD goes down 4 or 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, and you're hearing grumblings now that James Harden is upset with KD, not with KD, with the Nets. Yeah. It was dumb because I'm like, Harden, you saw last year, you could barely walk. And we were half an inch away from sending the Bucks home, and the Bucks won the chip. So just imagine this year when you're healthy, KD's healthy by the time playoffs come around. Kyrie, even though it's even though he would be a part-time player. But even by then, we don't know that because Jersey's lifting the mask mandate next month.
Yeah.
So New York's going to be right behind them.
Yeah.
And, New Jersey works the same as the city. New York upstate is a whole different country than the city. So
Very much so.
If the
Very
city is basically an extension of New Jersey when it comes to their rules. So once Murphy does something, de Blasio is right behind him. So
or not de Blasio, no,
right?
Adams. Adams.
Yeah, well,
New guy.
It was de Blasio because de Blasio was the one that put the mask mandate in. So if he always worked like that, then Eric Adams kind of is going to do the same thing. So then we get to this point, and I'm like, Harden, you got to chill because Adam Silver just came out today talking about the mask mandate makes no sense to me.
Exactly.
So you got to know the NBA
there's
is going to start pushing
coming
on New York City. Chill.
Yeah, there's something is in the works. Like things will be all right, and it's going to happen soon. It might happen after the All-Star break, but listen, you rest, you take the time off.
You take the time. So then on top of that, somebody tweeted at Kyrie and was like, "Yo, we miss you at the Clays when you coming back. We need you." And he put a Darth Vader picture and says, "My arrival is incoming."
Yeah.
He even knows he's coming back.
Yeah.
So he just was like, "Yo, chill." Harden was just so angry talking about this is not the best place for me to win a chip. Are you mad?
Go off, because I know this has been brewing for like 2 weeks now. And we've been holding off on this, man.
So like, I always thought to myself, I don't want Ben Simmons if it's going to be a straight up trade. I think Ben Simmons for James Harden as a straight up one for one trade is the dumbest thing you could possibly do.
That's awful.
Because you're losing too much offensive production for that trade to make sense. So I said to myself, and I was like, yo, the only way I would accept a Ben Simmons for James Harden trade is if we get Seth Curry. I wanted Tyrese Maxey, but that couldn't work. Or Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah.
But there's no way in hell they're giving up.
No.
Giving up Thybulle. So I was like,
Philly's GM is too much when it comes to how protective he is of his players too. He wanted Harden.
But you got to remember, Sean Marks was about to hang up the phone, and I don't know if you saw that. He was hanging up the phone, and Daryl Morey was out there cussing, talking about, "Don't hang up the effing phone. Don't you do it. We're getting this trade done."
He's wanted Harden since he gained 80 pounds in Houston and then lost it the day after.
Since he got fired from the Rockets for that whole Chinese scandal, he went to the Sixers and he was like, "I'm getting Harden back. I don't care."
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what's happening now? This is the funniest thing, off topic, but it's on topic. Ever since they traded for Harden, guess what now? Now they're talking about, we're looking to fire. Not, he didn't say that, but grumblings are coming out that they're about to fire Doc Rivers and sign Mark D'Antoni. Like, what are you doing here?
The Houston 76ers. All right. Rolling out the Houston 76ers.
Just trying to recreate that team. But I always said, like, the only way I'll accept a Harden for Ben Simmons trade is only one way I'll accept it. And that's Seth Curry, Tyrese Maxey, blah, blah, blah. I didn't personally want Andre Drummond because I think Andre Drummond is the most useless big man in the NBA. I love him. Don't get me wrong. He gets boards. But it's
Blake
like it's like widely known though that Andre Drummond is the most useless 2020 guy in the history of the NBA. Like, he could average 20 and 20. And you look at him and be like, we still lost every game.
All right, so we gotta bring that back from the last episodes because he played in Detroit and on like the Cavs from 4 years ago, which was basically Detroit. He played on bad teams. He was getting 20-20 on bad teams. Yeah, nobody else.
So then people were like, "Yo, Andre Drummond is kind of useless." So then he goes to the Lakers last year, and he's getting boards. And yes, he was like helpful because AD is always hurt. But at the same time, it's like Andre Drummond is kind of pointless. And then he goes to the Sixers and he's backing up Embiid. When does Embiid come out the game?
Never.
So like
that man plays 50 straight minutes if necessary.
So it's like Embiid never comes out he comes out the game for 2 minutes at a time. So then Andre Drummond was kind of pointless there. So maybe that's why he's been playing so well on the Nets, because now he has fresh legs. He hasn't really been playing much, even though he plays every game, but he's not getting big minutes. He's probably getting 18 to 20 minutes a game, which is not a lot when you come from averaging 38 a game. So they did the trade, James Harden and Paul Millsap, who both gave up on the Nets because Paul Millsap, let's be real, you could have been playing the last month and a half when everybody was hurt and stuff. And you could have been put on big minutes and you could have actually cemented yourself in the rotation. But you want to be
actually
annoying.
forgot he was even there. I literally thought he was still in Denver. And I remember he got released like this year, right? Early this year?
No, he never got released. He said he wanted
never
out
got re-signed?
he wanted a new role from the Nets. No, the Nets, he was a free agent and the Nets signed him.
Okay.
He went ring chasing. And he knows like Denver might be top 5 seed in the West, but they're not going to win a chip.
No.
You need Jamal Murray to win the chip. And like he's not back.
And maybe MPJ too. Because
he's worse than AD. He's
worse than
hurt every day. He comes back
he's
for 3 days and he's out again.
Back, neck, head, like whatever he's got now too. Yeah.
So it's like Paul Millsap came to the Nets ring chasing and then gets mad when he doesn't play 30 minutes a game. Like, Paul Millsap, you're 37 years old. You're not going to play 40 minutes a game. Calm down.
Realistic? That's not realistic.
And then everyone on the Nets gets hurt. But he already asked to get traded. So now we're not going to play you now. You already gave up on the Nets talking about, I don't want to be here anymore. I want a bigger role on the team. All right, well, you're not going to play. And the Nets were like, we will lose every game if we have to. We are not playing you. So then he gets traded now with James Harden. And it's like, great. It was a great trade. Both of them gave up on the Nets, and I don't want people on my team that are going to give up on us. You feel me? Like, James Harden, you might be a top 10 player in the NBA, but you gave up on the Nets. Literally 82 games after giving up on the Rockets. I don't want you on the team. You can go. So then he's out. You give him, Paul Millsap did the same thing. Y'all can both go. We get back Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. Great trade. Because Andre Drummond on a team with KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, Patty Mills, Seth Curry, Joe Harris when he comes back. You have Cam Thomas, who all of a sudden is in the Rookie of the Year competition, in my opinion. He might not be there yet because you have people like Scotty Barnes in Toronto going absolutely crazy. But you have Cam Thomas going crazy. And Andre Drummond, if all you're going to do is get offensive boards and defensive boards and rim protect, by all means. By all means.
Yeah. Okay. So now I see. This is where the plane has landed. Is that yes, Andre Drummond, his rebounds are useful. He's not going to drop 20. He's not going to drop 20 on the Nets now for sure. But he'll have 20 rebounds, which because on a night where the shooting is going crazy. Lacking? And the center the whole Nets time
could not guard a center for anything.
And they had Claxton, but you always said Claxton was just like a stick in the paint.
Claxton is who can I compare Claxton to? Claxton is
Pole Bull. No.
Basically,
no. A better Pole Bull.
Let me not do that to my boy. I love Nick Claxton. Nick Claxton is my guy, but Claxton is so skinny and he's always hurt. So it's like, he might 3 years from now when he puts on 30 pounds, but he can handle the 30 pounds, then we can talk. But Claxton right now is like at most 205, 210.
He's a stick in the paint.
He's so skinny. So like, he can rim protect. He can high fly. He has bounce, but he's not playing much defense because as soon as even Giannis gets in the paint and starts backing him down, he goes flying. So it's like, so my thing is like, okay, we have Andre Drummond now. Andre Drummond starts. He gives us 10 points off of putbacks and second chance points, and he gives us 20 rebounds. Tonight, he had 11 and 19.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stat sheet right now. I'm like, right there.
The most useful 19 boards I've ever seen in my life. I was watching.
And on Mitch Robinson too. Yeah.
Thank you. Exactly. Yeah. And then, but the best thing about it now is Claxton is not going from starter to bench. Claxton is going from starter to out the rotation because you have LaMarcus Aldridge, who's coming in the game, giving us 20 and 10. So tonight, they averaged, not average, tonight combined, they had 29 and 29.
Yeah. It worked out like perfectly.
If you're getting that from one position, because they're not on the floor together, you're getting that from one position, that's elite.
Yeah.
So you have to know, like, so we have Andre Drummond, Seth Curry immediately. First game, pulling threes. Granted, he wasn't the best from three in the first game. But Seth Curry is elite. He is number 2 all time in 3-point percentage. It's Steve Kerr, Seth Curry, somebody, I don't remember who the third person is, and then it's Joe Harris, all time. So you have Seth Curry, who is
his brother's got to be up. Steph's got to be up there.
Nah, Steph shoots too many of them for him to be that high up.
Yeah, I think he's for a season. I guess not. He's probably be like 35, 36, still like higher in the 30s.
No, I'm talking about all time.
Steph
all time. He's probably top 10, but he's not. He's not top 5.
Like in a season.
Yeah, I'm talking about all time.
No, I know, no, but an all time in a season, like of all seasons.
No, of every shot they've ever taken in the NBA.
Yeah,
Steve Kerr is number 1. Seth Curry is number 2. Somebody in the middle, and then Joe Harris
is number 2. Wow, that's crazy.
45% from three for his career. He's ridiculous.
Wow.
Which is why people are like, "Yo, on this team, this Nets team is gonna be unstoppable." Because just think about it like this: you have Ben Simmons. It doesn't matter what position Ben Simmons plays. Ben Simmons could play small ball 5 on this team. Mm-hmm. So you come down the stretch in the fourth quarter, and this is a death lineup. Ben Simmons at the 5, KD at the 4. You have Cam Thomas. If it's like you need a bucket, but probably not, then you just screw him. You put James Johnson at the 3, right? Mm-hmm. So now you have 3 elite defenders. Then you have Seth Curry at the 2, Kyrie at the 1. Ben Simmons is the 5 and the primary ball handler in that situation. Bro,
he has to be. He has to be.
Everyone has to be open now, because you can't double Ben, because you have 3 in. No, you would have to, because he can get to the basket at will. So the second he drives in, you have to close.
But you're playing him at the 5, so you're gonna have a 5 guarding him.
Ball handler.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
If he has the ball at the top of the key and you're 5 outing, and you have, I don't even care, you have Brook Lopez across from him. Like, Giannis is gonna have to guard him. Who's guarding KD? Brook Lopez? Barbecue chicken. So then Brook Lopez has to try and rip. Oh, they have Ibaka now. Okay, Ibaka stays on KD. KD will drop 50 on Ibaka, and if somehow he plays good defense, what's next? Mm-hmm. Seth Curry is the first person James Johnson is the first person you have to leave open, but he probably won't be in the game in crunch time. So if Joe Harris is back, that's Joe Harris there. You're going to leave the 2 of the top 4 all-time three-pointers on open threes? Come on, bro. So
I would definitely agree with you. The spacing there is incredible.
Oh, my God.
Why couldn't they have done that with Harden? Like, what is Harden not seeing?
They tried. The issue is, when they had the opportunity to do that,
I mean,
the Nets didn't have a center that can play. So if you look at it
I was going to say, on top of that, you listed the death lineup here. If you have your last year and first half of this year's death lineup, which is Harden, Kyrie, and KD playing all at the same time, that would only encompass 16 total games that they played together. That was like a huge stat that came out.
That wasn't even from this year.
I know that's all time.
Hardin got traded.
I know that was all Nets time. They only played 16, including playoffs, 16 total games together. Yep. I told that stat to my dad, and he was like, "Check that again. That's wrong." I was like, "No, it's real."
So you look at
16
it like
times.
This,
yeah.
You look at it like this, and you go, "Okay, yes, the Nets might not be a better star power team than before, but look at it as in." Which team got better from this trade? And it's the Nets, because if we're playing the Sixers, Ben Simmons on James Harden is a wash, because James Harden's still going to get his 20, but he's going to have to put up 25 shots to get that 20. And he's not going to do that. He's going to give it to Embiid. And then you have Andre Drummond, who's been practicing against Embiid all year. So, yeah, he might not be able to stop him because nobody's stopping Embiid. He's probably going to win MVP. But at least you can slow him down because you have a huge body. It's not slow LaMarcus Aldridge that was trying to get in his way. That's
or skinny Nick Claxton. Yeah, you have an actual center.
Or short, even though he's 6'10", short Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. So now you have Ben Simmons on James Harden. I dare you to try and score. Go for it. Because I'm 6'10". You never had somebody 6'10" guarding you. So good luck. I'm 6'10" and I'm fast.
He's played against Philly before with Simmons on him. And he still had decent games, but he was mostly deferring to either Kyrie when KD was hurt or KD when Kyrie was out.
And you got to remember that at the same time, who was really taking all the shots in those games? Kyrie.
KD.
So
KD's on top of him, though.
No, I'm saying like when it was because KD was hurt a lot last year. So when
I know what you're saying. Yeah, when it was Kyrie and Harden.
It was Ben Simmons trying to lock up Kyrie because Kyrie grabs the ball and goes for it. Harden was looking to pass the entire time.
No, he defers. He has to.
Yeah, he has to.
So, he knows he doesn't have the skill set to get around Simmons the same way. He needs spacing to get open. He always has. That's the type of player he's always been.
Tween.
Step back.
Get you off balance, step back and then take off, or step back and shoot. So you have that. So in this situation, we win because against the Sixers, who's guarding KD? Thibault. Okay, who's guarding Kyrie? Nobody. Because you had to put you don't put James Harden on Kyrie? Barbecue chicken.
Oh, well, you have Maxey.
Then that means who's guarding Ben Simmons?
That's what I'm saying. Then you're leaving Simmons, who's much taller, over Harden. And that leaves him open probably in the paint. He's probably going to get a layup every single time.
He's going to mash. Get down in the paint, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, he gets a layup on Harden. Hey, Harden's not a defender. I do see that scenario. That scenario you described right there played out perfectly. Like I can visualize it in my head. It's happening right then and there. I wouldn't say, and I don't know if you really meant this, that the Sixers lost the trade though, or that they got worse. I think they got worse. I think the issue with the Sixers is what you mentioned before is going to be Doc Rivers, because Doc Rivers has he is Tom Thibodeau in the other sense that they have their own style of coaching that they implement hard. Yes, and if things are going south, nothing happens. You're going to see the same thing until it works. And if that means Harden is shooting the ball 30 times a game and shooting 20% from the field, Harden will come again the next game and do the same exact thing until he gets hot. Because that's how Doc Rivers has coached teams in the past. He's been one of those coaches who's had 3 stars on his team at one point and has gone insane, obviously, with the Celtics with them. He put in some work with the Clippers, but, it was Lob City Clippers and almost the same scenario. Just the star power wasn't there. Didn't last. I don't know if they lost the trade, though, because I do think that the Sixers gave Harden the spacing that he wants. Because the spacing is you have Embiid in the paint the entire time, who's going to grab a board, and you have Maxey, Thibault, and who's their 4? Tobias Harris. Guarding probably on the paint and on defense guarding the perimeter. That's leaving Harden as the only scoring option. He's literally going to be what he was in Houston. No. If he can put up those numbers continuously and not be hurt, the trouble's going to be down the line in the playoffs. And it's obvious. Everyone's already saying it. What was Houston's fault every single time was getting the ball to Harden and having him play hero ball every single round of the playoffs. Because it either bailed the team out, or if they had to go against a team like the Warriors at the time, who had an offensive juggernaut, they were going to outclass you the entire game, the entire series at that point. And you can see the same thing happening here with the Nets. But I don't know if Philly actually got worse. I don't know. What do you think?
You know why I say I don't think they got much worse. Do I think they're going from the number 1 seed to number 7? No. They're probably going to stay as the number 1 seed or number 2.
I don't know if they go up that high even, because I still see Chicago and Miami being better teams. Possibly the Bucks.
Oh, they're number 3 right now, I think.
They're number 5. Cleveland's 4. Yeah, Cleveland's 4 because Cleveland's on a crazy. No, actually, they lost the last 2. Cleveland is insane right now.
Jesus.
They picked up Darius Garland and who's their second year that they got right now? Who's going crazy? The point guard.
Darius Garland is their point guard.
Oh, then who's the shooting guard? Who's the other guy? They had a guy already there.
Colin Sexton.
Oh, I don't know if that's him because he's been hurt.
Colin Sexton. There's Colin. Oh, there's Isaac Okoro. There's Evan Mobley, who's their power forward center.
He's a power forward
Jared
center.
Allen, who's been
power
going
forward center.
Crazy on their team.
Nuts. He's an all-star this year, no?
Yeah. And of course, we gave him up to get Harden, and look what happened. Like, you understand the foolishness I'm talking about? So.
Oh, you know what I was thinking of? And he's like always hurt too. Is Karis LeVert because he was there too, and he started off the season.
He just got traded. He was on the Pacers.
Oh, he was on the Pacers. That's okay. Yeah. That makes sense then too.
Yeah.
Kevin Love is back putting numbers again too. I don't know what that man found life, and on the team he was already on, but he found life.
He was never a difference maker. He was always a numbers guy. Yeah. He became a difference maker when he was the number 2 option. So when Kyrie and LeBron left, he became number 1 again, and that's why the Cavs sucked again. But so
back to Philly. Yeah, back to Philly.
Yeah, so I'm not even really worried about Philly. Like, I'm worried about them, but you gotta understand, why is Embiid? Because everyone knew, give him the ball, let him go to work.
Yeah, he's
Harden on your team. You can't just give him the ball and go to work. James Harden's like, bro, I can't be James Harden if you have the ball all the time.
Yeah,
there was a reason why that worked, and that's because James Harden would have the ball coming up the court, give KD the ball, get it back, dribble. KD somehow finds a way to get open, give him the ball. Whether he shoots it or not, it's not up to him, but at least James Harden's in the game. Embiid is going to take 3 or 4 stupid threes every game. And I don't know if James Harden can handle that. Because it's like, bro, I'm trying to get you 50. Get 50 in the paint. I need you to be shot.
Does that. He doesn't do that in crunch time. He does it when they're up like 10, 15, and he's like, let me just chuck one up so I can laugh about it on Twitter later.
He really had the hardest step back last night.
Yeah. He did the double. He looked like an offensive tackle, like going side to side, shuffling backwards.
He got blocked and traveled on this. Like, come on, that was bad. But then it's like you go to the Bucks, and now you have Ben Simmons who can guard Giannis.
Yeah.
And then when Ben Simmons isn't on Giannis, KD can guard Giannis.
Yeah.
So now you have 2 people that can not just guard him, but keep up with him. You can't just say put Blake Griffin on him, and Blake Griffin's gonna get cooked on every play, but at least Blake Griffin he can foul out and you don't feel that.
Body. Yeah, he'll be a body.
But now you have 2 elite defenders in KD and Ben Simmons that can actually sit on Giannis the entire game and say, look, we have enough other people to score. If KD takes off that whole Bucks series, God forbid we have to face them. Hopefully they get knocked out by somebody else. Ooh. But God forbid we have to face them. KD can say, hey, I'm not going to score this round. I got Kyrie. I got LaMarcus Aldridge, the mid-range king. He can sit there and score 26 points.
Went crazy on the Knicks today.
Shot, and I'm chilling. Man. All I got to do is sit on, and then you got Kyrie, you got Seth Curry, you got Joe Harris, you got James Johnson, you got Bruce Brown, who put up one of the best stat lines I've ever seen in my life. He had 19, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks, 3 steals. No, actually 5 blocks and like 4 steals in that game. And I'm like, bro, he had 4 stats with 4 or more. Like, who does that? Like, you never see, like, that stuff you don't ever see. So you play against the Bucks, the only person you really have to worry about is Chris Middleton. But if you got Ben Simmons and KD who are elite defenders.
And listen, you got to force Chris Middleton to be the number 1 option on that team. It's make or break. You can only do that at
home. You got to remember, every game in Brooklyn.
It's make or break.
He was the worst player on the court.
He's got to do it at home or in the bubble.
Exactly.
At home or in the bubble. And neither that's happening that often.
And the only thing the Bulls don't worry me at all. The Bulls don't worry me at all.
The Bulls got to stay healthy, bro. If they don't stay healthy, they drop fast.
They were fully healthy when we played them, and we were down 2. I think it was just KD that game. And KD said, DeMar, I'm LeBron again. You think you escaped? No.
Yeah.
I'm LeBron. You're going to
remember what happened when you were in Toronto? I'm LeBron. Think the same way. Exactly. But there was one game, I think, though, they did hand y'all like a blowout, but I think that
Oh
was early
no,
on.
we
No
blew
Kyrie.
them out.
There was
Nah, bro.
one. Hold on.
We sent them to I don't even know. We put them in Clamps prison. We beat them by like 40 that game.
It was a 138-112 win from like a month ago. There was one game where it was like, oh yeah, I think it might have been just actually this game that y'all just blew past them in like the third quarter. No, okay, so y'all played 3 games against them and you took the 2 out of the 1. Weird, you played 3 games against the Bulls. But yeah, you blew them out in the most recent game. They beat you guys by 23 in the first game in Chicago.
Wasn't like opening night, so that makes sense because the Nets were not, But
I mean, they didn't have Kyrie to start at all. But
exactly.
Harden definitely. It was like opening week.
We found that out like the day the season started, talking about Kyrie can't play, and everybody's like, "What?" But yeah. So it's like I don't know.
So you're not worried about the Bulls.
Miami kind of worries me because
defensively.
No, it's not even so much defensively. It's really just the fact that Jimmy Butler can will anybody.
No, but listen, they've got the best defense in the league, like hands down too.
No, but the reason why they were good is because their defense was matched with Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero getting open on every play. That's not gonna happen anymore because now you have Ben Simmons that can sit on Jimmy Butler, and it's like, yeah, try to get a triple-double. You're not. I'm locking you up. So it's like
Jimmy Butler got some. He's got some extra gas for Ben Simmons, I'm sure, though. Like especially against Philly.
But now Bam's not gonna just be walking over the Nets because now you have Andre Drummond and that can literally just sit with him.
Yeah, the matchups are better. Yeah, they match up more.
That's what I'm saying. We're a way better matchup oriented team now. So like anybody we play, we can feasibly win. Like without even like. Oh,
I'd say better. I wouldn't go as far as way better, but I would definitely say that you're better.
Matchups, we are way better because you got to remember Harden. Yeah, he might be way better offensively, but Harden was not stopping anybody on defense.
Wait, are you still talking about? Oh, okay. No, we're still talking about against the Heat specifically.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Harden was not sticking Duncan Robinson.
No,
because he's
not defensive minded.
He's just running around. Harden gets tired and he's wide open. Open 3, made it.
Yeah,
every time. So it's like I want him to try and do that with James Johnson. James Johnson not there to score. He's just gonna sit. Bruce Brown, the pest. Bruce Brown got energy for days. Bruce Brown can literally just run in circles. And you saw that little battle he did to the Knicks off of saving the ball from going out of bounds. It wasn't even like he did anything. He just got the rebound and then saved it from going out of bounds and bowed in front of the Knicks. He got energy.
You literally called him Lance Stevenson. I'm mad about that. I'm mad you just called him Lance Stevenson. So I do like Miami's. I think Miami has like. Actually, they're not the best defense in the league. It's actually the Cavs. But I think this is Miami's year to win, though, too. In that sense, is like they've got their entire squad together. They've got depth. Is Oladipo ever going to come back? But I'd say out of all the teams in the East,
then you got a little problem there.
Out of all the teams in the East, I'd say especially they're the best matchup against the Nets still.
I want to agree, but I still think the Bucks.
The Bucks. I think the Bucks are still up there. They're obviously the champions, but fully healthy Nets squad, fully healthy Bucks squad. It's
because all they really have to do is 5 out.
Yeah.
If you could 5 out with Brook Lopez or Ibaka, and we're dead. We're dead. Yeah. There's nothing we can do.
I'd say, okay, this is the last thing I'm gonna say though about the Nets specifically is the only thing in the second half that would effectively hurt your team is the mandate against Kyrie. If it continues to stay in place,
it's gone. He said,
"I know,
my arrival
is coming. There's nothing in the works yet. New York City hasn't said anything, and God forbid, but COVID's not over. We could get like another variant or some stupid, regeneration of, this terrible freaking disease or virus. The worst case scenario, I think, is that happening. Ben Simmons already said, I'm all in, mentally, everything, physically, whatever. I just got to get the green light. Once I get the green light, I'm all in.
And you got to remember, that boy been sitting at home for 6 months.
He's been waiting.
He's probably Steph Curry right now. He's gonna come back and lighten it up from three.
If he takes 1-3 for the net. Actually, you know what? It's crazy because they're saying already, like Ben Simmons, he's gonna put up his first three on March 10th against Philly in Philly. He's gonna put up his first career, 10. Like not career, but his 10. First non-Philly three. He's gonna hit one right off the bat, like right off tip off. They're gonna pass to Simmons in the corner on the outlet.
Pull from the logo.
He's gonna pull it from right there and be like, "Whoa, Ben Simmons!"
And he's gonna make it, and the crowd is gonna go silent.
They're gonna start throwing
because
stuff.
They're gonna realize he swindled us.
Yeah.
Because if he ever got a consistent 3-point shot, he's the best player in the NBA.
They've been saying that since the day he got to LSU. They said, "Watch out for Ben Simmons. He's a monster in the paint. He's what he does in college is what LeBron James would have been doing in college to other people. He just doesn't have a shot." And everyone's like, "What? So just develop a shot." Never developed the shot. And people are looking at him like, "What are you doing?" If he ever develops a shot, bro, Nets could have the dynasty that they always wanted and needed from this point forward. It could be over.
Because you got to remember, people always said, Bron can guard 1 through 5, which I agreed. If Bron tried, he can guard 1 through 5. Ben Simmons tries.
No, but we've seen LeBron do that too.
Feasibly guard 1 through 5.
Yeah. It's the way he's built and the way his style of play is set. He can be on the ball at any point in the game. On ball, anyone.
God be his witness. I don't even care. If Ben Simmons shoots what Julius Randle's doing, 30%. From 3, which is good for Ben Simmons, bad for Julius Randle. If he ever gets it, he needs to get that up.
What? No, that's great for how many pure fours do you know have a 30% 3-point shooting range?
No, but bro, that's 3 out of 10. Stop shooting. Like you should be shooting better than that. He was like 40% last year.
If he shot
not 40,
all right, listen, that's 3 out of 10. If he shot 3 out of 10 consistently, that's like 1 of 8, and then like 4 of 7 the next day. You see spurts. It's not 3 of 10 every day. That's an average. But I got you.
Yeah. So like if he ever got 30% from 3 and then pulled LeBron and like got better as time went on, because like Bron's almost like 40% from 3 from like by now. So if he ever got it to 38, that little FU3 where he just looks at the ball and then puts it up. If he ever got consistently, but you can't block it because any moment he can just take off. Yeah. And Bron at 37 is still one of the fastest guys in the league. So that's my whole thing. If Ben Simmons could ever get a consistent 3, it doesn't even have to be mid-range. You have KD and LA and Kyrie who can shoot mid-range shots till your eyes turn blue. Yeah. He doesn't have to do it.
You don't need that.
Just spot up when KD's getting double teamed and pull the trigger. If you could do that at 38%, not even 38, give me 30% or 32%, and he's one of the top 10, 15 players in the NBA because you can't stop him off the dribble. He's shown you that. He's one of the most elite passers. He can guard 1 through 5 elitely. He should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year. Gobert who? You can go kick rocks. He gets exposed every year, and they still give him Defensive Player of the Year.
He gets exposed in the playoffs, yes. And in the regular season, he ends up being the reason why Utah's in the playoffs. Exactly. But it's the only time it makes sense. If DPOY was a full season plus postseason award, Rudy Gobert would be nobody right now.
He would
be votes, nobody.
But he would be 5th in the voting every year.
He would be what Nerlens Noel is on the Knicks right now. Nobody.
Oh, man, all right, that's funny. But that's it. That's my take. I don't think the Nets are guaranteed because they don't have as much. Well, let me not say they don't have as much. They don't have as much on paper because Seth Curry, if you have Seth Curry and Joe Harris in the corners and
Harris
you have to come off
too.
One of them. Yeah, Joe Harris has to get healthy. That's the only thing. But if you have them in each corner, you have Patty Mills at the top of the key. You have Kyrie KD. And then if one of them sits in, you have Ben Simmons on the court. Come on, bro. You have to double off somebody. And they're going to try and double off Ben. Ben's going to drive in. Someone's going to have to come off one of the other two. And then you're going to have Seth. That's why the Knicks lost. They didn't lose because of Cam Thomas today. They lost because when it came down to it, who was wide open right in front of the Knicks bench? Seth Curry. You don't leave a Curry open. The dad made the shots,
But then explain why Cam Thomas went crazy on us in the second half.
No, I'm saying that's the reason we came back. But the reason y'all lost is because when y'all were up 1 or 2, Seth Curry looked at the Knicks bench, was wide open. Nobody was within 10 feet of him, and he pulled the shot and then just walked off like Steph.
Yeah.
Walked off.
That's when Tibbs almost threw everything in his arms.
Yeah, and then we went up 1, and that was game because that was demoralizing for you guys. Because when you said, "Oh, we fought off," they took the lead, but we got the lead back, 3 in your face. Now look what happened. So that's why
234 right there. I just saw the play-by-play. Yeah, 234.
You're gonna leave a Curry open. That's who you're gonna have to leave open. So that's why I'm like, Harden might have been a better make your team like on paper better, but I think having the elite defense of Ben Simmons, which gives James Johnson a lesser role because he's an elite defender, but he's not, he can't get you a bucket when you need it. And even though Ben Simmons can't shoot, Ben Simmons can get to the basket at will because he's so much stronger than everybody else. It's the same LeBron factor.
He's stronger than the person that's literally on him.
Exactly.
That has to guard him,
no matter what position, he's either faster or stronger than you. So, and both if you're a 3. So you're kind of stuck either way. So that's my only thing. I think we reached the 30-minute mark at this point, but that's my whole thing where it's like, yo, I don't expect Ben Simmons to be top 5 player in the NBA clearly, and I don't think he's gonna be a better fit than James Harden. But what I will say is the whole trade overall, having Ben, Seth Curry, adding another shooter because we don't know if Joe Harris is going to come back. And then we also and Seth can create his own shot. So it's not like he just has to spot up. Him and his brother play the same. It's just that Steph is way better of a shooter. So you have the two of them, and then you have a guy who's going to get boards. The reason the Nets didn't blow out the Bucks every game was because Giannis would just jump over Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
You just jump over him. Like, Blake Griffin is a high flyer in his path. Blake Griffin can still dunk on you. Don't get me wrong, but he's not Clippers Blake Griffin that he could pull off from the free throw line. He's not doing that. So that's part of the problem. And that's why I think we might be a better matchup problem is what I'll go back to. And that's why I'm excited because, yes, I
think you should be
scarred Nets fan. But at the end of the day, we have someone who can literally guard the best player on the other team. And he doesn't have to worry about trying to get the ball to Embiid or, fighting to make sure he's out the way of Embiid. You have 2 of the best finishers in the history of the NBA on your team. You're chilling. And you have 2 of the best spot-up three-point shooters on your team of all time. Like, you're chilling. You just got to find your role and do it.
Yeah.
And the Sixers picks are unprotected. I don't know if they're both next year, but one might be this year and one might be next year. So anyhow, God forbid, one of them gets hurt in Hardin. I don't ever wish injuries, but they're both injury prone or not injury prone. One is injury prone. One is give up prone on his teams. God forbid one or both of those happen. We're looking at a top 5 pick with a team with KD who already signed an extension. Kyrie, if they lift the mask mandate, will sign the extension because he wants to play. That's where his team growing up. He wants to be here. So come on.
I was going to say they
already signed.
They already made the comparison between the first day he joined the Nets. James Harden was all smiles. He said, "This is where I wanted to be." First day on Philly. First day he comes out to the game. What does he say? All smiles. This is where I wanted to be.
He said that's where he wanted to be leaving Houston. He didn't even want to go to the Nets. And I'm like, stop lying, brother. Stop lying. You saw that ring. You could taste the ring before your hamstring got blown out. So I don't want to hear that. But
God. Hey, anything for a story, Harden. You gotta have something following you. If it's not gonna be a legacy, it's gonna be a story.
He did that stupid bell ring. Galvanized the team and the fans just get blown up by 50.
One of the worst celebrations I ever seen to fire up a team. I mean, listen, I liked when Meek Mill did it when he got out of jailers and ignited Philly. That was the year they won the Super Bowl too. That was good. That was heartwarming. Kevin Hart did it a couple times. He's a native Philadelphian. When Ben Simmons did it after the day after he made his first 3, No,
Ben Simmons.
when Ben Simmons did it the day after he made his first three in a preseason game against the Knicks, I was like, burn that stadium down. If that's what you're going to celebrate in Philly, you don't deserve a team. You do not deserve a team. A preseason game, you're going to ring a bell. They're going to give you the key to the city because you hit a three-pointer.
And that's part of the reason why he left. Because, like, a lot of people said, oh, there's no way Ben Simmons really meant what he meant. Like, there's no way Ben Simmons really had mental issues, blah, blah, blah. Whether or not that's true. No, because,
that's not for them to decide. Like,
it's not for them to decide. But whether or not that's true, you got to look at the Sixers fans. Like, you clown the guy for taking a three.
Yeah.
Like, whether or not it goes in, the crowd goes crazy when he just takes it.
Yeah.
Like, so you clown him for doing something that every basketball player should do. And then I heard, like, after that stupid pass he made in Game 7 against the Hawks, when he passed, when he should have just went up and dunked the ball, and then Thibault got blocked or whatever, people showed up at his house trying to set his house on fire.
What? Come on.
There were multiple instances where he had to call the cops because fans were outside his house throwing stuff at his house. Would you want to stay?
No.
What? No, granted, he didn't blame the fans because that's the easy way out. But he said, like, he was just like, man, it wasn't the fans. It wasn't, no. There's a lot of stuff going back to back and back to back to back. Yeah, but if he had mental problems, getting a little trade is not going to fix your mental issue. The issue is
technically but if the root of the issue,
kill it multiple times.
But that's what if the root of the issue is coming from the place you're living in, and you don't want to expose it. Yeah, you're gonna be upset about it every time someone brings it up, or if someone has to like ask you to clarify why you're having mental issues. Of course, you're gonna resort to like, listen, I'm just defending myself, right? I want to take time on myself.
Bro,
you have every right to say that anytime you're dealing with anything, loss. Van Jefferson he dipped after the Super Bowl because his wife was in labor. That's a personal issue. You don't have to celebrate with your team when your wife's in labor. You go be with your family. If you have things going on outside of the sport you play in, be more than an athlete. Be a human being first. Take care of yourself. It only makes sense for him to react that way because that's crazy. How are you gonna expect to have a guy back on? Imagine it's what I fear with Julius Randle is that Knicks fans are so intense. They at him on Twitter. They go to him after the game and they press him like, why aren't you giving your all? Why are you giving this? Why are you showing bad body language? Why would he want to hear that? Why would a guy who has a name for himself on your team want to hear that from the fans? Even on a bad season. Who cares? Who cares?
What I will say is that Knicks fans and New York fans in general are a bunch of Twitter fingers.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk your ears off, but we're not going to actually do anything about it. Philly?
Yeah.
Like, granted, I love the city of Philadelphia.
Love it.
The actual city. I love going to Philly, just to, walk the streets.
It's probably my second favorite place to be, like city-wise.
But the people? Just get rid of the whole town. Just throw everybody out.
Nah, man, like, they're intense.
Philly fans are insane. Like, Carson Wentz got y'all to the playoffs. Yes, he got hurt, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the MVP season in that season.
Crucified that man.
Yeah.
Talking about, give me Nick Foles. There's no way you can be serious.
Not seriously. Seriously.
You know Carson Wentz is better than Nick Foles. Cut it out. Yes, Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. Carson Wentz is better than Nick Foles. And he showed it this year on the Colts. Like, yes, he wasn't Eagles Nick Foles. I mean, he wasn't Eagles Carson Wentz, but he was pretty good. The only reason from where he was last year on the Eagles,
big improvement.
Way better.
Big improvement.
So definitely. That's my whole thing, and it's like you just gotta chill. Like people gotta take it easy because, even if he was lying about his mental issues, Philly fans, granted, I don't know if the story's true, but that's what I heard.
Oh, that's still ridiculous, regardless of where
people showing up to his house is a guarantee. But I don't know if they really tried to set it on fire like some of the stories were saying. But if that's the case, I would have moved immediately. He put his house up for sale before he even left.
Yeah,
he was like, "I'm done. I can't do this anymore."
It was long overdue. It was long overdue. On top of that, I think he knew that the team was pretty much done with him. And once that bridge is burned, you can call it quits right there.
That's it.
If he didn't get traded this year, I don't know what would have happened. They would have had to buy his whole contract out. He would have begged them to cut him, begged them to, like, you know, he already took on 20 million in fines. Like, that's how badly he did not want to play there. It made sense, like, you know, at the end of it all.
First day in Brooklyn, cheesing at practice, talking to KD, like
walked in the stadium with his uniform on.
Want to be there, and I get it.
Yeah,
that's my Nets rant. I feel good.
Done deal. Hey, catch us on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on Apple Podcasts, on Pandora Podcasts, on Podbean. This video will be up on YouTube. Check out our YouTube shorts. Check out our YouTube and Twitter content that we always have up on TikTok. And ask us questions. You see our Twitter ads. They're always down there. You can weigh in on both of our Knicks, Nets outlooks. Tell us how you feel about the All-Star break. Tell us how you feel if your team made any moves, any positive, negative moves. If you're a Kings fan, I got a shoulder right here you need to cry on. Shane has one. He's got two. And keep tuning in every week. Next week, we got more content for you. Take care.
Lakers somehow won tonight. I don't know how.
Yeah, I just peeped on my TV behind me. I'm looking. I'm like, wow, they're up by 4 with a second left. That's crazy. Hey,